the man of the hour, the man of the day. How many hands have you shaken?
A lot.
It's so exciting. So I was telling the viewers in the chat room that when you walked in, there were just cheers.
Everybody was clapping and cheering. It was very nice.
This is
very
so exciting.
nice. Very humbling. It's very humbling.
40 years, guys. In case you did not know, today is Dave Munsey's 40th anniversary. He started here September 30th, 1975.
And this is they put billboards like this up around town, so when you're driving around, you might run into one and see one, but don't pay too much attention to them, so you might drive off the road.
I want to take a picture with you in the billboard.
Oh, okay.
But we'll do that after we show them
okay.
over.
Well, you could get all them in on it. You could shoot that way in.
So all the viewers are very excited.
It's a very exciting day, and I appreciate everybody else's excitement.
Joe Foley saying congrats on 40 years. I know Rachel was in the chat room earlier. She wanted to be the first person to say congrats, but I don't know if she's there right now.
Well, we know Rachel. She is a regular viewer, and she stays with us here, and I believe that she was the first one to congratulate me.
But all of you guys sending in your congratulations. All of you guys are very important. I see Cha-Cha Ram saying, Dave, happy day. Sai saying congrats. Alfredo saying it's question time, because I did say, aside from just doing a normal weather update, that people could actually ask you questions directly.
Absolutely, you bet.
Because it's exciting. I feel like 40th anniversary is like bigger than your birthday.
I'll answer any questions that the statute of limitations hasn't run out on. So it has run out on, I mean. So from there we'll go.
Cha-Cha Ram says 40 more years to come. Timo Tempo thinks we make a great team. Thanks, Timo. D just rocking. Dave, the man of the day. Happy anniversary, Dave.
Thank you. Isn't that nice?
Happy anniversary, Sherry says. Alfredo has the first question. Dave, what's your most memorable? What's the most memorable time or memorable moment here at Fox 10?
Well, I have a lot of them. There's a lot of them. I was probably the most memorable is the one that was mentioned in the newspaper article the other day, and I've mentioned it before. And it's a sad occasion, but it's the most memorable. And it was kind of an epiphany for me as well. It was 27 years ago. My mother had passed away, and I was on my way home, and I was at the airport, and a woman and a man about the age of my mom walked up and asked me, oh, you're traveling, where are you going? And I said I was going home, and they said, why? And I said, to my mom's funeral. And as I said that, I started crying. And this woman took me in her arms, and as I said in the article, I said she didn't hug me, she cuddled me. Aww. And she did. She patted my back, and I immediately got the feeling that I was closer to these people than I realized I was. And that has always stuck with me as a real, truly, it was just an epiphany of my life and the relationship I had with the audience. So that's probably the most memorable. There have been many. Let me tell you one real quick story that was real fun for me. And that was we went up to Barry Goldwater's house. We were working on a story on solar energy. And I'd been working with solar people all over the valley. John F. Long was a builder here. And he was building a solar community, and we worked with him. In fact, I offered a name for his solar community that he turned down. It was a retirement community solar, and it was made by John F. Long. And I said, you should call it So Long. He didn't. He didn't like that.
I love puns.
He thought it was cute. Anyway, during this period, Barry Goldwater was very into solar and fighting for it in Washington. And so we went up to his house to interview him, and we'd forgotten a piece of equipment. And as we were leaving to go get that piece of equipment, we made a deal with him. We'll be back in about 45 minutes. Will you still be here? Yes, I will. And as we were leaving, he said, Dave, why don't you stay and have breakfast with me? And I went, sure, okay. So we went into his kitchen, just the two of us, and he started slicing bread from a loaf of bread and said, do you like homemade bread? And I said, oh, yeah. And he said, I get this bread from Quentin Burdick. Quentin Burdick is the senator from North Dakota. I'm from North Dakota. Mm-hmm. And I knew Mr. Burdick. And so I mentioned that to him. I said, well, I know Quentin Burdick. He's a family friend. And he said, well, I get this bread from him that comes from North Dakota. And I said, yeah, I know. It's called Rhodes Frozen Bread. It's made in my hometown. And all of a sudden, he realized he had a new source for his bread.
So do they still? Where's
It's now you can buy it anywhere. You can buy this bread anywhere
Where
now.
can I want to try your hometown
it's
bread.
it's you can buy it in most grocery stores.
What
It's
is it
called
called?
Rhodes Frozen Bread.
Where is it sold in the bread aisle?
I think in the frozen
In the
frozen product area.
Okay.
Anyway, Mr. Goldwater loved this bread, and so I said, "Well, listen," I said, Quentin Burdick had gotten sick, and so he wasn't supplying him with this bread. That was his last loaf that we were cutting that morning.
Wow.
So I said, "Listen, my dad still lives there. My dad's a lifelong Republican." And so I called my dad and I said, I'm here at Barry Goldwater's house. And he wants to talk to you. So the two of them got together, and my dad started sending him bread.
Such
And
a great story.
yeah, and then several months later, in fact, maybe a year later, I was at an event, and it was an event that all of my management people were at. In fact, it was a radio and television event here in town, and the guest speaker was Barry Goldwater. And as he came in the door, he started walking down the aisle, and everybody stood and was applauding for him. And he was using a cane at that time. He hadn't gotten to the walker yet. So he was moving along pretty slow. And as he came by our table, he spotted me. And he veered off and came over and put his arm around me. And he said, "How's your old man?" And I said, "Oh, he's pretty good." And he said, "Are these guys treating you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, they're doing okay." He said, "Well, if they don't, call me."
You were taken care of.
I know, he was a good guy. He was a good guy. He was a real nice guy to pick me out like that and come over and make a big deal. And all of the newspapers, the radio stations all called me after that and were saying, "How do you know him? How did that happen?" So I told that story. And then when Barry Goldwater passed away, a lot of the stations called me and wanted me to repeat that story as well. But that's a very memorable time for me. He gave me a private phone number that I could call him anytime on it, and I
This
did.
is before cell phones.
Yeah, I took advantage of that. He said, "Nobody will answer this phone but me." And I called him a couple of times for a couple of different things that were all basically related to the news.
Helena saying, Dave, over the past 40 years, what is the biggest change you've seen in Arizona weather? That's a good question.
Oh, yeah, I think I think that it's become more violent. I think that our storms have become bigger, and they've become more destructive. Over the last few years, we've really gotten more rain out of individual storms than we have out of sometimes the entire summer. So I think that's it. The storms are getting bigger. I mean, these dust storms that have come across. Remember the massive one a couple of years ago that was 23 miles long and 2 miles high, and it just we didn't see things like that before. In fact, it was many years that I worked here before I even saw a dust storm. Dust storms were very, very small. They were very well located. In other words, it'd be a small little storm over in Chandler, or there might be one in Glendale, or there might be one down in Mobile or something like that. But we never expected them to come up to the city and to grow the way they were. Every once in a while. But for the most part, they were isolated. They were much smaller. So, yeah, I think that the intensity of the storms is probably the biggest change.
Let's see what else they're saying. Bean is calling you an Arizona weather legend. Mary Bell wants to say happy 40th anniversary
Thank
to
you.
Nick saying, yay, Dave. Ron Arizona saying Goldwater's house was on Tatum and Lincoln. D just rocking saying, I've used Rhodes frozen bread dough for years.
Good for you. It is good. It's real good stuff. We still get it.
Shared the website for the bread, rhodesbread.com. Lana saying, Dave, I hear that Famous Dave is going to give a free meal to anyone named Dave today.
I don't know about that.
Okay, I don't know.
You know what was funny about that Famous Dave's is I was at a party once and I saw one of their trucks. And I had said to my wife, I didn't know anything about them, and I said, look at this guy named Dave, goes out, starts his own business. I mean, what a go-getter! And then I find out they're this big chain.
That's so good.
But I imagine in the beginning it was a guy named Dave that was out with his own truck. One of the other changes I like about what's happening is social media. And not only the communication style of it, but when I was getting started and you got a phone call from somebody that was being unruly or unreasonable, you'd hang up on them, and that was something. But now you can unfriend them. I mean, to me, boom, that's it. Not only am I hanging up, I'm unfriending you.
That's so
I think
good.
that's pretty powerful, isn't it?
I think so.
Oh, you know what that was a picture of right there? Did you see that?
They haven't seen it. I'm pulling up some of your old clips.
Oh, there was a picture just before there that you had up. I think it was Mark Mitchell, who is now the mayor of Tempe.
Oh, I don't know how to go back to that, but
Yeah, I can tell you what that was. They were naming Dave Munsey Day in Tempe, and I have no idea. I don't know what day it is. That's why when I saw that, I thought
today.
I said we should play that so I can see what day it is because.
Well, I'm going to try to play as many
Okay,
clips as possible.
I have
just
all
wanna
that.
Answer a few more questions from the viewer.
Okay, I have that paperwork for that, but we were real busy that day. The mayor came out and he interrupted a shoot that we were doing for water safety, and we appreciated it and everything. But I took the paperwork and I filed it away. I have it somewhere. And my wife asked me the other day, "What day is Dave Munsey Day anyway?" And I went, "I have no idea." It's a day.
Chacho, Dave, I'm in Vegas and your weather forecasts are more accurate than my local weather stations. You are my weatherman.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, you get a lot of rain there. You can get floods in a hurry in Las Vegas. We have Danielle Miller here, who was in Vegas for a while. And her and I talk about the weather, the contrasts every once in a while between here and Vegas because you guys get some pretty violent weather there. You get that weather coming off the mountains or the rain coming off those mountains behind you, and your rivers and streams and your roadways get filled up real quick. And I believe you have some. I believe you have some canals that go through the city as well that are used for flood control, and boy, they get real dangerous. I've seen some spectacular rescues out of those up in Las Vegas. So thank you for your comments, but you guys have some pretty good weather up there.
Ron saying a few years ago it snowed in Phoenix. Timo saying, Dave, what can you say about the rising temperatures in Arizona?
Well, even though temperatures, we have warming trends that are certainly warmer than we have seen in the past, which is an indication of some kind of warming trend, global warming, call it what you like. But once again, we're only breaking a few records. We do break them sometimes by great numbers. In other words, instead of breaking it by a degree, we seem to break them by 2 or 3 or 4 degrees. But we're not breaking that many records that it should be a real concern as far as warming temperatures. I think it stays warmer longer into the year now. Like today, for instance. I mean, today is September 30th, and my wife was saying to me the other day, she said, I remember for your birthday, which is September 20th, we used to have
Happy
jackets.
belated birthday.
Yes, thank you. That we used to wear jackets in the backyard and sweaters. And when we'd have a birthday party or something, and we don't do that now. So
It's a little too warm to do sweaters.
yeah, and I mean, I was swimming yesterday. I never do that in September.
Well, now you do.
Now I can't say that anymore. And I may swim in October. We'll see.
Here's a good question from Dee saying, Dave, did you just get into weather forecasting for the love of it or by accident?
I got into it by accident. Of course, I grew up in North Dakota, which is farm country. Hi, John. John's here. Mr. Hook. There we go.
This was cold.
Oh,
I want you to enjoy that with fun.
thank you.
So I
Thanks,
want you to
John.
enjoy that with fun.
I appreciate it.
You
Congratulations.
guys are
Thank
seeing
you.
it live
Thanks, you
here.
bet. You get to see John Hook coming to work and bringing me a beverage,
A treat. We'll just leave
a
it
nice
at that.
beverage, and a nice card,
That's
which has
exciting.
been happening a lot here today, which
An
is very
exciting
nice.
day.
And what was I talking about?
You were talking about how you got into weather by accident.
Oh, okay. My dream was to be a criminal defense lawyer. My college degree that I was aiming for when I first went to college was political science, and I was totally geared to doing this. I really wanted to do
Criminal defense.
criminal defense
So
attorney.
the opposite of Bill Montgomery?
Yeah. Well, you have to. Yeah. I had just decided that I wasn't going to be a priest, because that was my original dream. I wanted to be a priest, and that was for a long time, for many years that I had done that. And for some reason, I just at about 17, 18. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it anymore. I kind of lost that, and I was expanding and doing other things. I think what happened is somebody explained celibacy to me, and I thought, well, if I've already broken one of the rules, what's the sense of going on with this? Just kidding, just kidding. But anyway, from there. And it was one of the reasons that I had started falling away from some of my earlier dreams, and you do that as you grow up.
Right.
You expand and you do different things. But yeah, I went to school. When I went to school, that was my dream. I really wanted to get into law. To do this, I got a job at a radio station because it wasn't something that I dreamed about. It was just something I was good at, and I had a woman grabbed me one time that she was one of my mother's friends, and I was about 10 years old running around the house just making all kinds of noise, and she grabbed me by my shirt and she looked at me and she said, "I hope you get paid for that mouth someday." And that was an epiphany. I went,
you did. Now
get
you do.
paid for this? So I had never thought of that as a dream or as a career. I always had thought of it as, yeah, that's something I could do. And started doing it, started hanging out at the local radio station just because I was interested. And it became a job for me. It became a job for me at college. I got a job at a local radio station, and then I kind of worked that into doing some TV as well. And it just started growing. All of a sudden, boom, 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 what happened was I wanted to leave the station to continue my education, and they went, "Well, if you don't leave, we'll give you this."
And you stayed.
Well, I stayed. Yeah, I was a young man, and things were popping for me, and so that happened. And then all of a sudden, another station from another town called and offered me a job, and I moved on to that, which was a bigger station. And in the middle of all this, I got drafted and ended up in Vietnam. And my way out of the field, which I was in the combat zone, was through American Forces Radio and Television. So I was able to use that again to make my life a little easier, and started working. Was moved down to Saigon, out of the field, which was very comforting to me.
Right.
So when I got out of the service, this was pretty much the only thing I knew. And boom, just started from there, and things started happening. And then when I was 28 years old, I ended up here working the morning radio. And I was also, they had an 11 o'clock. They didn't have a noon news. They had an 11 o'clock. I also was helping out. I wasn't their main weatherman, but they asked me to share some duties with their weatherman when he was out of town. And I soon replaced him. Yeah,
So crazy.
That's the way it went. It's been that way ever since. So
there's a lot of good questions from the viewers in the chat, but what I want to do for a sec is play some of your old videos. Then we'll get back to
okay, we can do that.
Because this
oh,
is
look
great.
at this! Look at this! Oh my goodness!
Look at that! There's a lot of video that has been dug up from the archives. I'm going to try to play as much as possible. But if you want to go ahead and listen,
I will listen. Yes, I forgot what this guy sounded like.
All right, let's go ahead and watch.
Back to Civic Plaza here and take a look around. We'll look at the national map that we have out. Thunderstorm activity, as you can see, is occurring all throughout the southwest.
I don't know if there's any audio on this video,
well,
but still, we can talk over it.
I must have been doing weather for Argentina back then, because somewhere in South America, I think. But that was obviously something that was affecting us at the time.
I hear you.
Look at that hair. Look at that hair.
Well. And speaking of heavy rain, they had some heavy rain down in the south today. Lafayette, Louisiana, picking up 3.5 inches. And then that storm track followed all the way up into the northeast. Look at these temperatures on the day. Still some 40s hanging around. In fact, there were a few flakes of snow way up into the...
Those maps are pretty old, yeah.
That was about it. As we
were just getting started. You know, I used to write on my maps. There we go.
As a matter of fact, we got a little breeze coming up the back of me right now, and it feels real nice coming through that water. We have a very serious weather this evening. We would like to show you a flash flood watch that is in effect and will be in effect until
now
later
these
on.
are automatic. They just pop up on your screen.
Now, Fox 10 Weather with Weather Authority Dave Munsey.
Weather Authority.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Some strange weather around here over the weekend with some of that storm activity. We normally don't get that at this time of year. Got a big picture up here. We can see South America. In fact, we're going to be talking about some of the weather in Argentina. Don't cry for me, Argentina. No, it was rain.
This is so
It was Argentina. I was just guessing.
It's so great to look at some of this old video.
Look at how
you know
skinny
what's
I
amazing?
was.
You used to wear vests. We've never seen you in a vest
Yeah,
now it's only white shirts and ties.
I used to wear vests. I used to wear suspenders quite a bit as well. But when I injured my back, I had to give up the suspenders because they hurt my shoulder to wear them. So that's where I had gone from vests to suspenders, and I had to end up giving them up.
This is so cool to watch some of your old weathercasts. And
Where
I don't
those
even know what's
graphics?
going to come next because I'm pulling these from the archives, so I have no idea what the next thing is going to be.
Weather throughout most of the country, and then the
we
warm
saw that
stuff
one.
We did
down
already
here.
see
Tomorrow's
this one.
highs, not much change. We'll get rid of some of those 40s, replace them with 50s in the Great Lakes. Everybody else doing just about the same. We'll stay about the same down here as well. Here's our 97 today. There were a few hundreds hanging around. We'll see more of those, of course, some 70s in the mountains. Look for the 40s in the mountains tonight. It'll be the 50s, 60s, and 70s across our desert locations. Then
Those are
tomorrow
the lows.
afternoon, temperatures
You know
about the
what?
same as they were today.
This looks like it's probably about this time of year.
Right.
We're starting to be on the downfall.
have-
Look at that cheap little map there that I made. I actually made that map so that I could be outside. Tells the story.
It's so great.
People loved it. We had a great time back then.
So apparently there's also a video of your reports on weather safety.
Our water safety.
Our
huh?
water safety.
Okay. Let's see what we have there. I see one right there.
Right here. So I'm going to pull that up in a second.
Here in the Southwest deserts. Once again, a flash flood watch is in effect for many of the counties. We'll show you those in just a
All right,
moment.
let's
First
go
of
ahead
all,
and
let's
play
take a look
this
at
water
what,
safety
we
one.
have for a forecast.
Southland Sunsplash, there are plenty of lifeguards, all Red Cross trained and CPR certified. But most accidents involving children around water don't happen in a place like this. They happen in your own
Kids who go out and in the water having a great time, don't ever assume that they're okay.
And that includes leaving them for just a few seconds, even to answer the phone. Portable phones you can have with you at poolside are fine. And keep the 911 emergency number written on that phone. Now, if your phone is not portable, let it ring or take the children with you when you answer.
The toys that you have around the pool are okay. They just shouldn't be in the water when the kids aren't in the pool.
A toy left floating in an empty pool is a big temptation to a little child. Take all of the toys out of the pool area when you leave. If someone's in trouble, lay down on the edge of the pool and help them to the side. There are objects around the pool that can help in this situation. Have a ring buoy available. And some of the long-handled brushes and scoops used for cleaning can also be used to help save a life. And don't rely on inflatable cuffs this little one is wearing.
How long have you been saying watch your
They are
kids around
toys
water?
that could
35
easily
years.
deflate or
35
even
years.
slip off.
And you know, the thing is, I'm watching this from years ago, and the message has not changed.
United States Coast Guard
The
approved
message,
personal
the
flotation
method
device.
has not changed.
And each
All
safety
of these
tip always
years.
comes back
It's
to
easy stuff.
constant adult supervision.
Anytime you have an area of activity, a recreational
Those are
area,
firefighters
take the
behind
time
you, so that
to
probably
understand
is a,
the hazards of that
That's
area.
probably a water safety.
And
event
remember,
that she's
when
at.
everyone is leaving the pool, it's a good idea to add a padlock to the fence gate. There's no such thing as overdoing it when we're talking
I
about
know what
watching
this
our
is.
children
This
around
was
water.
giving me an
We're in a
award.
beautiful pool
That's
area
what it
right
was.
now. One of the nice things
Yeah, they snuck up on me. Those are the people from the Water Safety Coalition.
Oh, cool, because Alfredo
Yeah.
had just asked about this video.
Yeah, they gave me a couple of awards, as a matter of fact, and they snuck. That's Jay Arthur right there. Yeah. Oh, that's really. That goes back. That's about a year or so ago. And I had just been doing something on the air, so you see I have all my stuff on there. And they really did surprise me. I had no idea they were in the building, and that's a traveling trophy that they gave me that they give out every year to a different person involved in water safety. Not this one. That's a trophy I got to keep right there, and that was for station involvement in water safety. And then they gave me another bigger trophy that was the traveling trophy. I think we'll see that now. There it is right there, yeah.
This is so cool. Ron in Arizona is asking how long you've been in Arizona. Have you been in Arizona for 40 years?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
have you been in Arizona for longer than
I've been
40
in
years?
Arizona for longer than that. I worked down in Casa Grande for a couple of years on the radio station down there. And in fact, almost ended up living in Casa Grande because of that. Looked for a home down there and was about to really pull the trigger and become a part owner in the station down there. And KUPD came calling. Are they still around? Are they still a radio station?
I'm not.
KUPD. Anyway, they called me, and boy, I flew up here. It was my opportunity to get into Phoenix, and then from there I came here. So yeah, it was a good move that I made at that time. But yeah, 35 years that we've been doing that, and you can see the kids aren't paying any attention to me.
Well, I mean, these are just like different clips from all sorts of things that you've covered over the
Yeah,
years.
we've gone out and talked to different people. Once again, that was Dave Munsey Day that they were proclaiming there, and we're going to have to get the sound from that, maybe because he may say the day on that particular one. And then I could find out what day that is.
Well, you hear the phrase, watch your kids
Same
around
video.
the
Oh, that
water.
is,
What do
yeah,
you
that's
think
the
of?
one.
Dave Munsey, of course. He's been talking about and preaching water safety and drowning prevention for more than 30 years. And today, we're going to be giving him a really big honor, actually two big honors. And joining us today is the Mesa Fire Department and also the Drowning Prevention Coalition of Arizona.
This, right?
Yep.
I'm going to pick some other video then.
Okay.
I think this video that I'm going to play now is from 1995.
Had flooded streets.
That once again is my Argentina stuff.
These special offers end
That must have
Memorial
been a
Day.
popular one with people.
With some of that storm activity. We normally don't get that at this time of year. Got a big picture up here. We can see South America. In fact, we're going to be talking about some of the weather in Argentina. Don't cry for me, Argentina. No, it was rain, actually. And lots of rain throughout Argentina as those
Look
folks
at
had
that
flooded
flooding in
streets.
Argentina.
And just a lot of problems.
I've done
to deal with.
worldwide weather.
This also had hail and high winds with it, but you can see the aftermath of all of those problems that they were having in our quest to cover weather around the world. Tomorrow, Morocco. We'll see. Well, the west, you can see the clouds hanging around here as we continue to pump that moisture in. A weak low brought it in over the weekend, and we continue to see it. We saw this stuff coming in last Thursday and Friday, and it continues to hang around. Here's the moisture just kind of evaporating through the day.
Boy,
but,
our equipment is
still
so
a
much
lot of it
better
out there.
today.
Still chances of
That
getting
stuff
some
was good,
activity
though.
around the
It
state.
worked.
We're pretty safe down here right now. We did have some dust, especially on the east side. 97 for a high today, 75 the morning low, 94 and 65 normals for this time of year, 105 record high, 48 our record low for the day. Currently, we have 88 degrees, 29 on the humidity, dew point temperature at 52. The winds have reduced themselves to south at 9 now, and the barometer rising, 2977. West doesn't look too bad. You see this late afternoon gathering of thunderstorms all through the southwest and then down here as well. Most of that stuff staying to the north or extreme southeastern portion of our state. Here's a cold front right through here. You can see it's really got some storm activity all along the entire front. And big heavy stuff in the midsection of the country last night. And then down here just today, we've mentioned already, just scattered thunderstorms. Some of those thunderstorms somewhat heavy. We had some heavy ones to the north of Phoenix and a few heavy ones to the south of Phoenix. And some of those had some heavy rain associated with them as
Oh,
well.
my goodness.
And speaking of
Look at
heavy rain,
I just learned from our
Oh, my
web
goodness,
producer
yeah.
Kim some big news, and Dave Munsey is seeing it right here and reacting for the first time. So I wanted to share it with you guys. This just came in from the governor himself.
Oh, isn't that something?
Governor Doug
Yeah,
Ducey
wow.
has tweeted this just now. Looks like everyone is excited about today. Let's go ahead and share this with our viewers. Congratulations to the best dressed weatherman on TV. Arizona icon Fox 10 Dave celebrating 40 years at Fox 10 Phoenix today.
Well, very nice.
That's
Thank
so
you, Governor.
exciting. He just tweeted that a minute ago.
Thank you, Governor. That is so nice.
Any words
and
to the governor?
Well, I'm a little stunned right now. I'm a little. That surprises me. You know, that he even knows I'm here. You know, that he's got so much to do and so much on his plate that he would take time for something like that. Thank you. I appreciate your time because I know it's extremely valuable.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's very nice. I appreciate that.
So now I have this video clip from 1980. So we're going to go back, I guess that would be 35 years, right?
That would be a couple of years ago.
1980, 35 years ago. I have not watched this clip yet, I don't think. So let me go ahead and pull this up.
Because, you know, I did stories too.
Oh,
you
you
never know.
did?
Yeah, I was a reporter as well. I didn't do all weather. I sometimes went out and did stories. I was
I
just
think
wondering if this might not be one of those.
This might be a story
One
that
of
you
those
did.
incidents. We'll see here.
Let's listen.
They were in was struck by another car police say was traveling the wrong way on the interstate. Authorities say that car was carrying illegal aliens and the driver is facing manslaughter charges. Representative Dunn was serving her 4th term in the Arizona House. 6 years ago.
Dave Munsey here with the weather with an incredible backdrop. Dave?
Wow.
Oh, well, that was we've seen this earlier. That's just where they introduced me to it.
Coming up the back of me right now, and it feels real nice coming through that water.
Yeah, I think that was over in the Phoenix City Plaza by the.
It will be in effect until later on. These are the areas that it concerns. Flash flood watch is in effect for Yavapai,
by the concert
Gila,
hall over there.
Maricopa, Pinell, Graham,
That's all
Reed,
changed, of course.
Lima, Santa Cruz, and Cochise counties. That'll be until midnight tonight, or unless there is a change, we'll of course let you know about that. Thunderstorms are developing in these areas. Some of them are very intense, could be accompanied by heavy rain. We may have some very heavy rain here in the valley, some local street flooding, and possibly some real heavy thunderstorms come moving through here. Remember now,
I really
flash
like
flood
that
watch
vest.
means the potential is very,
Yeah,
very
I
high
liked my
for
vests.
flash
I had a
flood.
lot of suits with
And, as we
vests
look
back
around the city
then.
plaza today,
Always,
let's take a look at what
always
happened as
had one
far as
on.
we were concerned with the weather.
And
High
vests,
today in the city
however,
was
look better
98
on a trim
degrees,
person.
temperature 98
I had that.
degrees, the relative humidity at 34%.
Wow. I want to
and
read some more viewer
29.84,
comments while we watch
and
this.
Okay.
falling is
Tess
the
saying, Dave, you are
barometer
our
right now. Winds out
weatherman.
of the
Very
south at
cool.
5 miles
Alfredo
an hour.
saying, Dave was
On
the original
pollution,
Corey
particulates were
McCloskey.
good, 41.
Rachel saying, hi,
Carbon
Mr.
monoxide
Munsey.
at 20
Happy
and good.
anniversary.
And the ozone level was at 68. As we come back to
Very
Civic
cool.
Plaza here and take a look around, we'll look at the national map that we have out. Thunderstorm activity, as you can see, is occurring all throughout the southwest.
People are
extending into
commenting, isn't it?
Colorado
They
and
are.
Yeah, I do kind of. I kind of agree with that. I was the original Corey because I was out. I would go out into the field, and in fact, we created a newscast around that. It was called Live at 5, and the idea behind Live at 5 was that if nothing else was live, the weather was going to be live. But we did a lot of things live on Live at 5. But the weather, it was built around the weather at that time. In fact, I actually ended up getting a weather van, which was dedicated to just doing my weather and being out just for the purpose of doing the weather.
So then there's-
That was water safety there that you just saw, that you were
Should
just
we play
looking at.
that?
That was whatever that was. I believe was
water safety. Let's
water
listen.
safety. We did. I think we did a special on water safety.
Is that John Hook?
That's John Hook,
Wow.
Robin Garrison.
And the video
Yeah.
starts. The video is just on a frozen.
Amy, they're supposed to be in the pool. They had permission and they had all the things going for them, but Dave Munsey joins us now with kids who shouldn't go in that pool. And Dave, 9 times out of 10, it seems it's that gate around the pool.
That's the big thing, John, you bet. And we're in a beautiful pool area right now. One of the nice things about it is it's very protected, got a nice fence. In fact, let me talk to you about that fence just a bit. That fence should be 5 feet tall. It should have no more than 4 inches between the spaces. It should open outward, and it should have a self-closing, self-latching gate. And if you're not using it, lock it. Come here, let me show you something. If you build the gate near a lawn area, make sure that you have some concrete on the other side of the lawn area because they can dig a hole right here and get up and underneath. And this one you can't do that because the concrete was right here. but we've had 2 drownings this year from children that have dug in a hole underneath this thing and then gotten up into the pool. So make sure that when you gate that pool, that you close the gate, you lock the gate, you secure the gate, and you make sure there's no other way in there, because if there's a way in, take the gate down, it's not doing you any good. We want to remind people that when you put a pool in and you put the gate in and you make sure all of these things are secure, don't forget about it year after year. Go back every year and check it, make sure, even in the wintertime, that everything is working. We did have a broken latch this year. That latch cost the life of a child. It costs $10 to replace it. So make sure that you check these things, you rattle everything, just make sure that it's secure, because these things can fall apart, they get weathered, things can erode underneath them. So make sure you do the safety checks once you get the safety in place.
So true.
Good advice, Dave. We have much more still to come on Fox 10 Safe Summer,
Including a look at some of the items around your house that you've got to watch out for. They can be a danger. It looks harmless, but just a couple of inches of water.
That was so fun to go back and watch. D just rocking in the chat room saying this is seriously the best FNN show I've had the pleasure of watching. Congrats to you, Dave Munsey.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun for me to go back and look at that stuff. I forget that you forget you were young. And boy, I'll tell you, that water safety stuff, though, it's not changed. It's the same message. So, you know, once you get it, stick with it. It's the same thing.
Well, Dave Munsey, any final words, final thoughts? Do you want to give us the weather update for today?
Well, there's not much to give. It's pretty warm out there. I was going to check and see how close we were getting to a record. I haven't had a chance to do that yet.
Because everyone wants to shake your hand and hang out with you. They haven't even let you do your job for today. As soon as you walked in, I was like, Dave, you need to sit with me at 3 o'clock. I'm telling all the viewers you're going to be here at 3. So thank you for giving us the half an hour of your time. More than
I appreciate
35 minutes. It was so fun to look at all those old clips with you.
It was a lot of fun.
Super
I loved all
nostalgic.
your comments. Thank you all for commenting.
And people can reach you on Facebook and Twitter, right?
That's true.
Don't
That's
unfriend
true.
him.
And I do appreciate all of you. I really truly do, because we can't do any of this if you're not watching. If you're not there, then we're gone. And if you're not there for 40 years, I'm gone. Aww. So that's true, though. That's really what it is. It's you know, we do this for you, and if you watch, then we get to stick around. And thank you for keeping me around. I appreciate it. Okay.
Yay, Dave Munsey.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to let you get to your weather forecast. I'm going to